The pen is the tool of the journalist. This program is called PENSDOWN because this is where we get them to lay down their working tools. And then they become the newsmakers, not the reporters or presenters. Here, we turn the tables and we get you to understand all that they go through. That's the news stories and other information they share with you through the mass media does not permit. Today, we are traveling to Ghana's second biggest city, the Ashanti region, with Kumasi as the headquarters. And we are touching base with the reigning Ghana Journalists Association's Journalist of the Year. This one is fresh. Just a few weeks ago, I think about a week or two ago, he was given this recognition. He's joining us on PENSDOWN. He is an assistant news editor with a multimedia group in Ghana. The multimedia group is one of the biggest private media brands in Ghana. Very solid, credible, and feared by some of the people in power, especially for the kind of groundbreaking reports they do. His full profile will be displayed on the screen while we go ahead with this conversation. My guest on PENSDOWN today is Erastus Asare Donkor. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
And once again, congratulations on being elected the GJ Journalist of the Year.
Thank you.
First of all, you've done almost 2 decades in this craft, in this profession. How did you discover the journalist in you?
I get asked this question many times, and the answer is simple. I dreamt of being a journalist right from age 11.
Wow.
And I remember back in Konongo, Dumase, I used to tell my father I will be a journalist when I grow up. And he would tell me to shut up. But I had a passion to be a journalist, and I loved reading and writing. And in that town, there was only one journalist that I knew. Nane Albema of Daily Graphic was the only journalist in Konongo at the time. And I admired him so much, and I wanted to have the opportunity to use a platform to solve problems. And I felt being a journalist will help cure my curiosity.
You've been here for almost 2 decades. Will you say journalism pays? Does it pay? Don't worry, your employers are not listening, so you're free.
No worry, they know. It depends on your definition of pay. If you're looking for an overnight, millionaire or billionaire, then it won't happen for you in journalism. You are in the wrong profession. If you are in there to make yourself extremely rich, then that's not the profession for you. But if you are there to serve humanity and be gainfully employed and live a modest life, a life full of truth, and be content with what you have, then definitely that's the place for you.
The person from whom you took the motivation to go into journalism was a print journalist, Nanaya Berma, one of the veterans in the trade. But you have emerged a broadcast journalist. How did you do the switch? Or it was when you entered that you realized that this was more exciting?
Well, so journalism has many facets, and I knew definitely that I'll be my own type of journalist. Though he was the one I looked up to. Back then, there was no radio station in Konongo. There was a few radio stations you have in the system. Capital Radio, for example, when I was growing up, the likes of William DeBord, Heavy D, and the likes, we listened to them. GCR, the state broadcaster, was also way back in Kumasi. So, and Tech FM, I think. Some few electronic media you could find in the system. So I knew I would be a journalist. As to the branch of journalism, I had no idea. But I think when I was growing up, through areas that I branched into before coming in, I was a disc jockey, a DJ to be precise.
Wow.
I was spinning across nightclubs and weddings and funerals and stuff. And so I think I grew accustomed to the electronic media as I grew up, and I wanted to be a broadcast journalist.
These years you have been in journalism, so many of your colleagues and even seniors have abandoned the craft. There is a lot of attrition in the field of journalism. So many highly qualified professionals are leaving, some of them jumping into public relations or any field that would welcome them. From where you sit, what do you think is accounting for this high rate of attrition that journalism is experiencing?
I'll say financial challenges. Being a journalist in Ghana doesn't really pay much. And I'm in multimedia. I would say it's better than some other radio stations and TV stations.
Yeah.
And even when we say it's better here, it comes with a lot of challenges. So imagine if you have a family of, say, 3. And I'm not going to tell you my salary, but if you look at your means, then definitely you are looking for a better opportunity that will help you take care of your children, your family, build a future for them. So, people have different kind of motivation for this job. If your motivation is to make money, definitely you want to switch. And there are others who have also done, different jobs, in additional jobs to try to break even aside the passion to do journalism. And so I would say that it's mainly due to financial constraints. And I'm not the only person. A number of journalists across the realm have financial difficulties. Some of them will have to do other jobs to be able to survive. So definitely if you have another job that is going to pay you more, they think about that, they think about their family, and they move on.
One of your colleagues within the multimedia group that I hosted here, Eugene Osei-Tutu, made an interesting statement. He said, the moment you appear on TV, all family problems land at your doorstep. Now that Ghana is celebrating you as the reigning journalist, how many friends and family problems have landed at your own doorstep?
Well, I before the award, I have my fair share of demands and requests and all that. It's something I do on my own. If I have something small, I share. It's part of me. If I have it, I'll share with you. If I don't have it, then that's it. So my family, they are the type that they know me for who I am. And so I'm as plain as, a piece of glass. If I have money, if I don't hide my things. So they know when the money is trickling in. They know when it is not. And so I'm not getting all the additional requests. But the people, anyway, I've had a couple of, requests here and there that now that you are journalist of the year, why don't you bring the cash? Let's share it. But I think it's not really all about the cash. It's about the recognition as well that we have done a lot. We have come a long way. We have followed illegal mining for like how many years? Since 2014. And to get the type of recognition we are getting at this particular moment, I think it speaks a lot into the job we've done over the years and what we continue to do.
Talking about illegal mining, not every journalist has the kind of mental toughness and gravitas to be able to go in there and quote unquote dine with the devil and bring out such groundbreaking stories. First of all, what was the motivation to focus on environmental journalism and most specifically illegal mining, which in Ghana we call galamsey?
Well, it all started when I followed a government task force to one of the mining areas in Ashanti region,
Okay.
the Manso area to be specific. And what I saw there broke my heart. I am somebody who loves nature. And so when you destroy nature, you get to the bad side of me. And when I saw that they've really cut down hundreds of valuable tree species and they did not even harvest them. They put them in the ground and they put laterite on it just to rot away. I was shocked because growing up, I knew the value of trees, and to see that they are not even interested in harvesting them because they are stealing the gold. What they are doing there is illegal. It got me so interested that this is something that is happening within a forest reserve, an area that is supposed to be protected. And if this, I asked myself that day that, okay, so I could count about 400 trees. If they continue to cut trees in this manner, within the next 5 years, where would we be? Where would this forest be? I kept asking myself that question. And I also saw at that particular moment was the Oda River in the forest, and where they were mining, they were so reckless to the extent that they redirected the Oda River, and it looked so dirty, and you could see some fishes floating on top. So it got me really scared. And since then, I got so interested. I really wanted to use journalism to, expose that, get people to act on it, get to sound the alarm bells that something is happening. And well, I say, unfortunately, I've been sounding that alarm bell since 2014. And those who were supposed to hurry up, those who were supposed to run and ensure that we protected those forest reserves, they didn't act. In fact, to the contrary, I found out that the people who were moving with to try to stop this act were the same people who were behind the mining. And since then, today when you go to the areas I went, Tabusre in the western region, Upper Wassa Forest Reserve, we went there in 2018. Today, if you go there, almost, half of the forest is gone. The Pamprama Forest Reserve, we went there in 2018. Today, it's just pits and gullies. It's sad. And the more I keep seeing those things, it encourages me that I should keep on doing it. Maybe somebody someday will sit up and take the whip and crack it strongly to prevent or save the environment.
You said it right. That's the very people who are supposed to enforce or ensure that our vegetation is protected are actually guilty of this kind of activity we are talking about. Because, for instance, the cost of one excavator is not something the ordinary man on the street can buy or can afford, And also the kind of protection and guns you see their security people hold is not something any ordinary person can afford. Now, dealing with this kind of story means dining with the devil. You are actually stepping on feet that are bigger than yours. Tell me some of the challenges you came through. Did you come face to face with gun-toting military men who swore heaven and earth to sniff life out of you if you didn't leave? What were some of the close shaves you had in the line of duty?
Well, I still have them. It's not like they've gone away.
Wow.
I look behind me all the time. Where I'm sitting now, sometimes I feel that anything could happen anytime. Yes, you step on big toes. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, criminal industry. And these people are super rich with wealth that they've stolen from all of us, and some of them have walked into my office before, to talk to me. Some of them offered huge sums of money I did not take. And so since then, I have to watch my back wherever I am. There have been such instances where, you receive text messages that we know your house will come there and all that. But I have this feeling in me that I have not wronged anybody.
Yeah.
I have not said, written or reported any falsehoods against anybody. I have reported the truth. If I mentioned your name, it's because I have evidence that you're doing the wrong thing and I mentioned your name. So if you want to hurt somebody just for speaking the truth, well, there's a God of justice. Maybe he will not allow you. And so I keep that hope alive and I keep on working. To answer your question directly, I have come very close to near-death situations. One of them is in 2021, where we went to, this time I was following a government task force sent by the environment minister at the time to, get rid of somebody who was mining supposedly illegally within the Apamprama Forest Reserve, the Odaho section.
Okay.
Unfortunately for me, when we went there, this was the same person who started destroying the Apamprama Forest Reserve from the Kobro section.
Oh.
Who has now come to the Odaho section. And in 2018, this was the same person under the company name Imperial Heritage Mining Limited. He was the same person who was mining illegally. I say illegally because he had a prospecting license. The law does not allow you to use a prospecting license to mine. And by mining, you are using huge equipment, heavy equipment, earth-moving equipment to mine. If you're doing prospecting, you're supposed to use drilling machines, drill, take samples, and all that. But you're not supposed to use heavy equipment. But here was this guy in 2018 with over 35 excavators in the forest mining, using alluvial methods, washing machines over there. That's not prospecting. Wow. He was driven away at that time. He went through the mill, now got a mining lease, went to the other side of the forest and mined. This was the same person we met in 2017 within the Upper Wasa Forest Reserve under the company named C&J Alaska, who was mining under the protection of military men. So in fact, when we entered that forest in 2021, that side, I didn't know it was him. I was doing my normal job. The security men started searching the various rooms. I was following closely. My camera technician was following me. And I was searching through the things, trying to document everything. Then we saw military uniforms with name tags,
Wow.
And you don't normally find them in a bush like that. So not one, not two. We found about, 10 of them with their armor and everything. And so in wooden sheds within the forest. And this was somebody who was perpetrating an illegality. And that is why we were sent by a government task force to flush him out.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that we have genuine military uniforms and accoutrement in there. Then, before we could say Jack, there was a young military officer. He drove a private Tundra vehicle into the bush, and he started making calls. Within about 30 minutes, the whole place was surrounded with, crawling with over 35 fully armed military men.
Really?
And I'm telling you, one pickup will land, they will get out, and then another one will land. Like before about 30 minutes, the whole place was crawling with military men, fully armed, and they were angry. So the team I was working with was a 10-member team. They were also armed.
Okay.
It was headed by a police chief inspector.
Okay.
And these people, they started exchanging words, angry, verbal exchanges. So at that moment, seriously, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Because if any of them had decided to fire, because they were at each other's throat, trading insults and all that. Some of them punching each other and all that. So I was praying that nobody will get crazy enough to fire. They kept us there for 5 good hours. At a point, the exchanges stopped. They now came to the media because they felt that what had happened there needed to be killed. It doesn't need to come out. And so we were supposed to cover. So, and they saw us filming, so they needed to clean our cameras. Wow. But before that, I knew that it will come to that. So I had, asked my camera guy to do something for the purpose of security. I've not stopped this job, so I will mention that.
It's understandable.
And I tell you, they struggled with my camera guy, broke our camera, took the camera forcibly, deleted every file from the camera. They took our phones, deleted all the files from our phones, including my child's, early photos and all that. They deleted everything. Yes, and even after that, they wouldn't allow us to go. So we started making calls, calling, people we know within the military hierarchy, and they themselves, they don't do anything. The minister who sent the team to the field, we called him, and he himself was helpless. Can you imagine?
Really?
A minister who has sent a task force to the bush, and they had a challenge. That minister, you call him for help, and he's helpless.
So that means that these military people that surrounded you were actual military people, not just people, civilians dressed in military fatigue.
My brother, they were serious military people sent by a higher authority.
Wow.
Because if not a higher authority, the minister could have asked them to leave.
Yes.
Simply, and they would leave.
Yes.
But from the interactions, you could see, because we called some military, top military people to save you, and they didn't. And it shocked me. My editor then, he's late now, Elvis Kwashi, called a number of high-powered people. And I remember the military on the ground talking to one particular military man, like in high command. I don't want to mention his name for some reason. And,
okay, that's fine.
And he asking them to still detain us, even after all those calls.
Really?
So, yes, I'm telling you. And so I deduced that, yes, the call to send the military men into the forest to protect that miner came from a high-powered source. And until today, they said they were investigating and that the report will come out. The report has since never been exposed till today.
Wow.
And so it tells you whoever sent them there were highly linked up there. And so after about close to 6 hours, my driver decided to park the vehicle well. They pounced on him, started punching him in the face.
Oh.
And I had to intervene. At that point, I got mad. I had to intervene. I told them that nobody's going to do that to anybody. Then they said, okay, we can leave. Just as we are about to leave, they said no. The one in charge, the one who has the site, Donald Ntia, came to the site and said they should strip us naked because he doesn't trust me. He feels I'm hiding something. So they should search us. So the commander of our team now got angry and said, nobody is stripping anybody naked. We are moving. If you want to kill us, go ahead and kill us.
Wow.
So with that vim, we just hopped onto our vehicle. All this while when we were moving, I was looking behind me. So I didn't know what would happen. Yeah, so we kept going. One military vehicle was following. We kept going until we left the forest.
Now, does your family know you go through this thing? Do they have a graphic idea of what you grapple with on the field?
Initially, I tried to hide it from my mother. because she did not like the idea of me being a journalist. She has on so many occasions told me, Kwaku, I'll give you my pension money every month. Why don't you quit journalism?
Wow.
Yeah, and I understand her. The places I go, even when I hide it from her, it will come on TV and she'll be watching and she will call. Yes. And sometimes she's on the verge of crying, and but I made her understand that it's a choice I made, not likely, but it's something I love to do, and she should understand that I also weigh the odds. If it's not safe, I won't go. And on top of it all, I know that God protects me because I'm doing a good thing. And though she understands now, she still feels jittery when I have to go to the field and all that. So I don't tell her. She only gets to see it on TV, and then she will call, and I'll say, Auntie, I'm no more in the bush. I'm here in Kumasi. So whatever you are watching is recorded. I think she's watching this, she'll be smiling.
But let me find this out. This is interesting. Now, after that encounter, that close shave with those gun-toting military people, didn't you have everything that this Galamsey thing might one day push you beyond what you don't expect? I mean, it might just lead to the unexpected.
I know. I feel it every day. And I sometimes I feel it will be my last one. Sometimes especially when we moved into the Samra Boy area, the forest there, it's a very dense forest. We traveled like 5 hours deep into the forest. Sometimes you don't get network and all that. Sometimes I feel that it will be my last one. Maybe I will not come back. But like I said, my motivation is in the fact that somebody somewhere might listen. And I feel I'm helping nature to protect the environment. It's something that somebody needs to do. There should be a conscience in the midst of all this craziness.
Yeah.
We cannot all be dealing. Somebody needs to stand upright and prick our conscience so that we don't fall asleep. What is happening is an existential threat.
Yes.
We all are suffering right now for it. It's going to get worse because now we are poisoning our water sources. We are poisoning our soil. The food that is coming to the market, research has been done and it's proving that some of them contain high levels of heavy metal.
Yeah.
Now we have tested our polluted rivers. We did the test ourselves. We realized that we have arsenic, chromium, lead, cadmium in high quantities, mercury in the water bodies that you see around. And all this seep into our water columns. We are also treating some of them, the Ghana Water Company, to distribute to homes. We know that the Ghana Water Company, the kind of process they use now, cannot take away heavy metals.
Yeah.
So it means that we are poisoning ourselves.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to stand up and prick our conscience consistently until we start to listen. That, hey, we are treading on dangerous ground. And so I feel that if I stop today, then there will be no conscience. We'll keep on doing what we are doing until we're all dead. What kind of generation will we be leaving behind? So yes, I have a constant fear, but I don't throw it to the dogs. I listen to my fears as well. There are some areas I don't go. And there are certain areas I will never go. We also have people who help us on the ground. Aside God protecting us, they do the recce for us. They tell us the kind of danger we are going to face. We have security officials whose conscience are not dead yet. They also support us. They move with us sometimes. And so we are doing this safely as far as we can.
Now, see your mother sitting here asking you my next question. I don't mean any emotional blackmail, but I want you to see it from that angle. If we are to go back into time, let's say 25 years, are you still going to choose journalism?
I'll choose journalism again and again and again. If you if you believe in reincarnation, if I come back, I'll still choose journalism. I love it. It's a passion I have for. I really love it.
This job, I'm talking about this, your current focus on galamsey, illegal mining activities that you are unearthing all the roads. You are doing this at great personal risk. Your immediate family, your wife, your kids, are they not also raising concerns? Because obviously there will be a spillover of these challenges to them. Are they also not concerned?
Well, I'm aware of all the risks to my nuclear family, and I take precautions. Like I said, no precaution is bigger than the protection of Jehovah.
Very important.
And so I know God protects me, but I don't take the risk involved for granted. I don't take my security for granted as well. I also try to protect my family, and I try to take them out of, the picture as much as I could. There was a time when, due to the work I do, I had to take them away for a whole month to a safe house.
Okay.
We lived there for like a whole month, getting into 2 months, because of the risk we envisaged. And it wasn't easy for them, just like it wasn't easy for me as well. My wife knew the kind of job I do. She knew the passion that I had for this job. She understands. I must say that she's also the one who directs me, where to go and where not to go. There are times when she says, "No way, this one you're not going," and I have to listen. And I think that with such arrangements and the protection of God, I'll still get to live, some years more.
Are you doing journalism for life?
I don't know. At a point in time, maybe I will switch. If I will switch, it will be for financial reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, because then you're having a family, is growing bigger, and you need to also look for additional sources of income.
Yeah. Let's talk about social media, a little away from the field work. Let's talk about social media. Do you think social media is a challenge to journalism or is an opportunity for journalists?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both. Depends on which way you look at it. It can be a very good tool to assist journalism, or to expand your horizon or your marketing ability if you want to put it to good use. But again, I know that the traditional way of doing journalism, where you're expecting to break it first, is no more because of the new media. These days, before you even publish your story in the traditional medium, it has already been published and the details spilled out there in the public domain. So everybody's a journalist now. They are all breaking news. But that is also a way. It is also telling us as journalists that you need to innovate. You need to find new ways of doing things. The old traditional system is gone. So if you're doing journalism now, that he said, she said, you have to be creative in your storytelling ability, and get the other side of the story that the social media and other people will not get, and that puts you ahead in a certain way. You need to be creative to take advantage of the challenge and the solutions that you can evolve, trying to sell your kind of journalism that will move away slightly from the what social media is providing. So to me, it's a challenge, and at the same time, an opportunity for us to expand, to innovate, and evolve.
Across Africa, there are richer bloggers than richer journalists. What is it that we journalists have not done with social media, which is why probably scarcely trained people are making a meal out of social media, if I may put it that way?
In fact, I used to do social media for fun.
Okay.
We are old school, and the new media, came to meet us, and so recently I got to know one of my guys who is an accountant is earning so much creating content on YouTube. Wow. And using his Facebook page, marketing it so well, and he teases me with it that you get all the awards and all that, but I also take the money. In the local language, you will say, "What are we at, Juman? But I'm in discount." So it got me thinking, and I started learning some, content creation ways on social media. I'm trying to, so I use my old channel on YouTube. Okay. I try to, put content there. I realize it's not as easy as you think. You need to constantly work at it. I'm still learning. And so that is why that I realized that my followers since 2012 has not grown exponentially as compared to other people who just started, using the new media. And so I think that journalists need to learn how to use the new media to their advantage. In fact, the old traditional ways of journalism are not being pushed aside. It depends on how you evolve and how you run along with the new media and try to use it as a tool rather to see it as a challenge or a competition. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that, in your line of duty with these galamsey issues, attempts have been made to bribe you. Apart from those that came to you directly, have some people attempted to use maybe your bosses or colleagues to do that? Maybe your colleague told you, do you know this person called me and wanted me to collect this for you? But I said, as for you, you won't take it. You are not the type of person.
Many times. Wow. Many times. And I would say that people even use my name to collect monies from, galamsey. Yeah, there was a time when a police inspector called me from the Jakobu area, and he was asking me, "Are you in the forest, the Apamprama forest at the moment?" I said, "No." He said, "Are you sure? Are you not in the forest at the moment?" I said, "No." He said, "But I'll get back to you. Somebody is here and he's claiming to be you, and he's extorting money from people in that area." So people use my name to collect monies from galamsey people and all that. Let me use your platform to sound a word of caution. I don't take money. I don't go around taking money from people. I don't take monies from illegal miners. I don't do that. So if anybody comes to your mining site claiming to be me, or even just saying that he's taking money from you for any sort of reason, you should be guided that is not me.
What would you say represents your golden memory these almost 2 decades?
Well, being recognized. In times past, people have decided to, blacklist my work, I would say so. Especially government, state actors do not want to acknowledge what I have done.
Wow.
They try to, downplay it to suit their own whims and caprices. They think that by not acknowledging my work, then they get to do what they want to do. So,
wow.
For institutions to now recognize my work and say we stand with you with what you're doing, it means a lot to me. It means tons of gold to me. In fact, you have the Department of Planning here at University calling me and saying we want to recognize your work. We are making you Environmental Sustainability Personality of the Year 2023.
Wow.
That is something. To have EMI Africa call me, I did not file any work with them. They called me and they said, we are acknowledging your work. We are giving you the PAV and SAR Communicator Award of the Year. That is something.
Without filing for it?
No, without filing for it.
Wow.
CIMG, Chartered Institute of Marketing, did the same thing. Yes, they did the same thing. I have the regional GJA also do the same thing for me without filing any award. And to also now put my work, one of my works, for recognition and for it to make the Journalist of the Year for 2022, that is also something. So I must say these are the golden moments. I know that God will reward me with money. It will soon come.
That's right. I remember when I hosted your colleague Kofi Edudonfe, I asked him if he's doing journalism for life. He says if his family members agree that he did not make money because of the profession he chose, then he will do the thing for life. But a quick one. These are a few media matters we talk here. Will you support calls for the licensing of journalists?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I wouldn't go for licensing of journalists, but I'll go for an improvement in their education levels, training programs for them, and to set the bar to a certain level where people who are coming into journalism at least will have a certain level of knowledge and be able to articulate very well and do their jobs ethically. That would be my answer to
that. I want to find this out from you. For all these years, is there any public figure? I'm asking of two, one in Ghana and one internationally, that if you have the opportunity, you would like to sit down with an interview.
You mean journalist?
No, public figure. As a journalist, is there any public figure that you so desire, if you have the opportunity? In Ghana, you sit down with the person. Let's do the gender balance. In Ghana, give me one male, one female, and then outside Ghana, one male, one female.
Well, in Ghana, I've always loved to meet President Akufo-Addo, one-on-one.
Okay.
To talk about how he has handled mining, illegal mining, the illegal mining fight, especially. I want to know from him, whether he hears what we do from the field, all the information we put out there, and why has he not acted?
Indeed, I think in recent memory, he is about the only president who declared a brazen war against the canker, even putting his own presidency on the line. But I'm not too sure if the KPIs are in his favor as we speak.
They are not, and that is why I really want to hear from him. Is it because he doesn't see what is happening around the country? He does not have the information, or he simply just doesn't care. It's something that really, if I will get it from him, I'll be very happy.
Let's look at a
because
female.
Female in Ghana.
Yes.
Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Female in Ghana.
While you think through that, we can look at the male outside, internationally.
Internationally, one interesting figure who comes to mind is Trump.
Oh, wow. You know, one amazing thing about him is that he's currently in court facing all sorts of charges, but his approval rating is still so high.
Yes. And I want to understand, you know, the mind of this man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he thinks in an abstract form, and he doesn't really care about, you know, he speaks his mind, and he has a mind of his own. And though people see him as crazy, he's an interesting person to observe. And to really understand him, I think, will be a PhD course.
Wow. But internationally, do you have a female name?
Angela Merkel.
Okay, the former German chancellor.
Yes. One fantastic woman who has held the realms of Germany for a very long time, and how she's able to build bridges. You know, at a point bringing, you know, the far right parties together to even rule that country for that long. It's something that is worth learning. And as a woman, how she's able to, you know, deal with all these affairs for such a long time is something that is worth exploring.
Okay, so the Ghana female one is outstanding.
The Ghana female one, the names. Which one should I go for? In fact, one such person that I always loved to meet was Ama Tedu. Unfortunately, she passed.
She passed on. Yeah.
Yeah, she was an iron lady.
That's right.
And I used to watch her interviews with the BBC and others, and this is a tough lady, somebody who speaks her mind in such, you know, strong terms, and the depth of knowledge, the depth of logic that she displays is quite amazing, and she's really somebody that I wanted to meet, you know, to talk. In entertainment circles, I really admire Lyia Forson.
Okay.
For a positive character.
Yeah.
And I've always followed her.
She's also very independent-minded.
I tell you, that lady is an iron lady as well. She has some beautiful thoughts. I read her writings, and she's somebody I admire so much. It's
obvious she's a reader. She reads a lot.
Yes, and I would love to meet her one day. If I had a one-on-one with her, why not? It will be lovely.
Wow. Now, if any of your kids tomorrow get up and tell you that they want to become journalists in future, are they getting your blessings?
You know, funny enough, my small boy likes cameras so much that whenever he pops up at my office, my mates tease me with him that he's going to be a perfect journalist. I will say no. I said no.
you have taken enough on behalf of the family.
I cannot control the goals of people. These are human beings. They have their own future aspirations. You cannot stop it. My father tried to stop me from journalism. It didn't work. I still came to do what I love. So I wouldn't stop anybody from doing what they like. If it is journalism they want to do, I would just have to guide them to the areas that will make them money. Because what I did, though I'm okay, but I think that we can improve journalism to the extent that it will be something attractive that people can earn a very humble, living out of it.
Political ownership of the media. So many politicians and politically exposed persons are setting up media establishments. We are a democracy. I mean, trying to nurture it to blossom to the point that we want. Are we caught in trouble, or there's no cause for alarm?
Well, there has always been that challenge with who owns what and where their loyalty lies, and whether people can be objective and ethical at the same time, looking at the ownership of these media stations. Some have done fairly well. Some at least much to be desired. I don't want to mention names at this moment, but we all know, to the extent that now truth is subject to who is saying it.
Yes.
And
whose
truth. Whose truth we are saying, we are telling. That is bad. And to the extent that if it is about this kind of people, then station is covering it very well, and we are even twisting facts to favor a certain political narrative. That is bad. It doesn't matter who owns what media station, as long as we are able to be objective. We put our country first. What is truth is truth. What is fact is fact. Accuracy plays its role. I don't have a problem with it. But what we have now in our country, where people use their media houses to perpetrate or portray or disseminate the gospel according to which party is in power.
That's right.
That is not good for our democracy.
Maybe my last question. When you go into the bushes to do your investigative work, do you return to town to sleep every day, or you also sleep in the thickets?
Well, I slept in the bush for 4 days consistently before.
Wow.
There are times that you cannot, where you are, you can't come back the same day. So we set up camps in the bushes, and we spend the night, sometimes 2 days, 3 days, then we come back. And when we have to do that, we have escorts, forest rangers who assist, us with where we have to sleep and how safe it will be around that particular area.
Let me thank you for this conversation. I'm truly grateful. I know you are busy, but you made time on very short notice. I really feel honored. Thank you very much for your time on PENSDOWN, my brother.
I'm grateful. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. This has been PENSDOWN. Today we sat down with the reigning journalist of the year in Ghana. He has just been given that recognition as the 2022 journalist of the year. He's done a lot. I would say he's one of the journalists who, quote unquote, dines with the devil. He goes into the lions den to take what he wants and comes back alive. Maybe the modern day Daniel, I don't know. But thanks for joining us on PENSDOWN. Here we talk journalism journeys. We'll be back again with another colleague, and we'll still be looking at their journey through their craft. Bye for now.